Hello, and welcome. That's not how this intro goes, but we're going with it anyway. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Animezingly Baka, the amazingly stupid podcast all about anime and movies and TV shows and manga and comics and books and music and so much more if it's not video games, of course, but primarily anime and maybe some movies. It all depends. I'm Mark Krishnez, the host. Your host? Yeah. I am Mark Krishnez, your host. Hi, how y'all doing? So, One Piece. That was one of the greatest One Piece episodes of all time. We're just jumping right into it. I know I've been a little harsh on the Kuma arc they've been doing, mostly because after the hiatus, going from such a long break from the show in general to then this additional break from the main crew to focus on Kuma's backstory and Boney's backstory. I was a little cold on it, even though I think I maybe said last episode, I think removed from all of that, the Kuma arc in terms of animation, storytelling, all of that, some of the best One Piece content we've seen in a long time, if not ever. And with this episode, it all culminated into this incredible emotional release. Everything about this episode was so good. But when Kuma returns, it's on another level. And ending the way it does with the punch, but more so than that, transitioning into the OP song, and then everything that it just was an emotional gut punch of an ending. Incredible looking episode, the storytelling in it, everything about it. This is this this makes the hiatus worth it. Assuming that this is part of why they wanted to go on the hiatus, to make sure that this would hit as hard as it needed to, look as good as it needed to, so on and so forth. Incredible stuff. I originally was going to, the title of this podcast episode, is going to be something along the lines of one of the greatest episodes of One Piece of all time. But before I watched this, it was originally going to be Jennifer Lopez Anaconda because of the most recent episode of Don, which was also fantastic, unsurprisingly so. What I loved about the Don episode this week was that it incorporated so many of the characters. I don't want to leap and say all of them, but we had many characters get involved in this episode, and it was so much fun because of that. We even had the human anatomy dude come in with his theme song. I forget the name of that song, but it's a very well-known song. But just hearing that again when he's charging around, God, the way Don is framed when they're doing all the animation and the fights and the movement, it's unlike most other, if not all, anime. There's much more of a traditional film like way it is put together, and it makes it stand out, especially when you're watching it back to back with other shows. Kaiju number 8, I continue to enjoy, but I'm still not into it the way I was in the first season. Part of that, I think, is watching it back to back with something that is as amazing as Dandadan. When I was thinking about it in my head, Kaiju number 8 is a really great seasonal show in the sense that it's a great part of any season, It's gonna be one of the better shows, and you enjoy it as it's going on, but it doesn't linger with you. It doesn't have the staying power of something like Don to Don, which feels more like watching a show that is an all-timer as it's airing. And I think that's the difference. Kaiju number 8, great show. Don to Don, My Dress Up Darling, maybe even a few others of this season, feel like all-timers. And I know it's early to say that with any show. It's always hard to say that about any show that's still airing because it can drop the ball. You could have said that, for instance, about the first season of Promise Neverland. The second season comes and you're like, never mind, never mind. We could say the first season was an all-timer, but let's just ignore everything after that. If they made additional seasons of Usagi Drop, Bunny Drop, we knowing where the manga goes, definitely that wouldn't have remained an all-timer, but as a standalone single season, Usagi Drop is one of my favorite anime of all time. And we just don't. The thing about that show that I hate, anytime you bring it up, anyone who is at all versed in the anime and manga world, they're going to immediately say, well, do you know about the manga? You know where the manga goes? And I don't usually bring up this show anymore because it's still one of my favorite of all time, for sure, but it's not. Would it be in my top 10? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe. I'd have to think about it. But I was so sick of bringing it up just because everyone would always say, do you know about the manga? Do you know about the manga? And I'd be like, yeah, I know about the manga. They're two separate things in my eyes. I own the manga also, just because I love the show so much. I bought all the manga. I never read it, and then I said, why am I keeping this? I love the anime as it is on its own. I don't need the manga just to show I'm a super fan because I'm not going to read it. So, Don to Don though. I love the way they incorporated so many of the characters. And then it ends in such a sweet moment between God, there's so many names that I'm forgetting everyone now. The fact that I can't remember their names drives me. This is my problem with everything. I am so fucking terrible with names. That is not his name. No, it's Okurun, and Momo, right? Yeah. I'm looking at his name, like, so that they don't call him by that name. But her searching for him, thinking that he maybe died in all the commotion because she forgot to save him, but he was saved by the mucus of the giant worm, and him collapsing from all of the exhaustion and everything into her, and then freaking out because he collapsed into her chest, and then her slowly collapsing into his chest and hugging him. That is what makes Don to Don so good. It's that, yes, it is this crazy, weird, wild, over the top. Do you want to call it action show, supernatural? It is all of that, but it is also at its core, the heart of the show is Momo and Okarun, and this building, growing romance relationship connection with them. I think I've heard other people talk about Don to Don and the fact that really it's a romance anime. It's disguised, if you want to say, with all this wild shit. But at its core, it is that. And it's handled so well. It's done so well. But then everything else is done so well as well. To just throw so many wells here. I love it. And I really love Gigi's transformation so much. I know some people don't like it because it is very simple. It's just purple everywhere and the rainbow gradient type of coloration around certain things, emphasizing certain things. And then I think he has, like, I forget where it is, but a part of his body that is It's not black. I don't think it's black. I think it's a very, very dark shade of purple. But I like it. Transformations don't have to be super complicated. Just gotta look cool. And Gigi transform looks fucking cool. And I like his little footballer abilities. But I love that when he is transformed, it turns everything purple because it just looks cool. It looks cool. It's a great episode. Great, great episode. I am teetering between. I still have it as a 9 out of 10. I think I needed to bump it up at a 10 because I am loving every single episode. I look so forward to watching it each and every week. And I loved the first season as well. The first season, the only issue I would ever have with Down to Down season 1 and season 2 so far is the way season 1 ended, because it didn't end on a cliffhanger. It ended in the middle of a fucking storyline. To me, it felt like it ended in the middle of an episode. But I adore that. My Dress Up Darling continues to be fantastic as well. This is just me being a broken record, but I love that show. I think we're getting spoiled this season. I talked about this for weeks upon weeks upon weeks in the lead up to summer 2025 that there was going to be a lot of heavy hitters. We're also going to have, I don't know if it's already come out. There is the compilation Demon Slayer, not Devil Slayer, the Demon Slayer movie, which is what is it? It is what it is. There's the Chainsaw movie that I don't think has come out yet, and some other things as well. But Don to Don, Summer That Hikaru Died, One Piece is firing on all cylinders right now. My Just Darling. So great episode. I've read that people really like this arc and people are excited to see it animated, so I'm excited for that. But the episode starts with them talking about this cultural festival that's coming up and how they get points for it and wanting to be the class that wins it out. And part of it is the traditional type of cultural festival stuff. But then there's also a beauty pageant that is happening. And of course, they all select Marin to be their representative for the beauty pageant because she's a model and all that. But the caveat to the beauty pageant is that it is a cross-dressing beauty pageant. So any boys who enter will dress as girls, and any girls who enter will dress as boys. This gets Marin way on board because now she looks at it as an ability to cosplay at school. And she wants to dress as this character from Rev. I don't remember what it was. But again, like with the first episode of this season, they transition to a good maybe 10 minutes of this episode devoted to just this fake anime. And again, they knock it out of the park with making a real feeling chunk of a fake anime that you look at and you think, shit, I love My Dress Up Darling, but I would also like to watch this fake shit you just made up. Can I get this show too? It looks good. It looks distinct. It doesn't look as distinct as the one from the first episode because that was a very unique and different art style. But you have a good chunk of that as Gojo's watching it to get familiarized with the character and their look, their outfit, and all that. And when that all happens, he is thinking about the whole situation, the fact that he has to help with the cultural festival. He has to help carry shit and do all that while also helping to create her costume for the beauty pageant. And he doesn't know how well he's going to balance it. And when he goes to the class to help out with them, sends Marin off to the store to purchase the fabric and all that jazz on her own. And she wants to create the costume on her own. She wants to give it a shot. The class is all like, "What are you doing here? Why are you here? You're supposed to be helping Marin with her costume, right? So why are you here? Are you really expecting to do both of these things to help out with the class and all this stuff and with her costume? That seems like a lot. You look like you think that's a lot as well. Do you think that's a lot? Please speak up because we're good here. We could use the help for sure. Who couldn't use more help? But we've got this. Mara needs you. And you're good at that. So do that. If we need some help, we'll ask you. But again, if you're feeling overwhelmed and you can't, that's fine. We'll be good. Except for the one dude who's just oblivious, like, fuck. I like when his one friend says, you know, we all understand this, but we can tell he's a fucking idiot, all right? So you need to be upfront with him. Otherwise, he's not going to get it. He's going to think you're fine because he's the fucking dumbass. And he's just like, I sure am. But I continue to love the fact that, like I said last episode, one of the great things about My Dress Up Darling is that overall it's just this really positive show, a very supportive show. And I love that about the class, that they all see this and are supportive of him. And when you see Gojo realize in those moments that the class not only is supportive of him and helping her out in this specific situation, but that they accept him for his hobbies and his interests. It is how school like that should be and how the world should be. It is sadly not how it often is. And I think that's what makes it great, is just an escape from reality, even though we wish reality was like this. It's just a very positive, uplifting, happy show that I adore. And I also cannot say enough positive things about the animation this season. I really want to go back to the first season because when I hear some people talk about the second season, they say it's a huge step up. And I don't remember the first season looking bad, but it may just not have had what is so good about this second season is that it has so much detail. And they really do a great job with all the little things. And you see characters in the background doing things and all of that. And maybe that was what was mostly lacking from the first season. But My Dress Up Darling continues to be great. My God, this week was fantastic because then we also had the return of Gachi Akuta, which I am enjoying so much. The sense of humor is my jam. And then I love the look, the aesthetic. I love the animation. I'm intrigued by the story. I had it at a 7. I bumped it up to an 8, but I feel like it's too early to give it a 9. I don't know if I ever like giving a show that's new in its first season, something like Down to Down, My Dress Up Darling. I'll give those 9s and 10s as continuations of earlier seasons. But being only 3 episodes in, I'm a little hesitant, but I feel not this exact same as I do for Dandadan, but close in that I am looking forward to Gashikuta a lot. I think it is such a fun show. And on top of that, again, I do think the story is interesting. I don't know. I'm curious if it's going to have a lot of depth to it. But as it stands right now, I'm just having fun with what they're doing, all these characters. So we still have, from the last episode, Engine's there. And of course, Rudo, the main character. But then we get introduced to his trainer, who is Zanka. And then at the very end, we meet this character, I think, Ryuji? Or Ryuji? Someone, she's barely in the episode, so we didn't get a real proper introduction to her. She just starts playing with Rudo's hair, and he's freaking out about it. But I love the exaggerated emotions of the characters. The fight between Zaka and Rudo is very fun because he doesn't. Zaka knows who Rudo is at first, but he's just kind of playing him out. But their personalities are clashing in fun ways because Rudo is very oblivious about a lot of things, and that makes him a fun character to watch. He's trying to smile after Zanka and him clash after he uses Zanka's vital instrument to catch a cat who stole his little money bag. He didn't know it was his vital instrument. He just saw a stick in the alley and grabbed it and used it. And after it's like, oh, I, I, I gave it right back. I didn't mean to take it. I didn't know it was your vital instrument. I didn't know anything. I don't even know who you are, so on and so forth. Everything seems cool, but then Zaka thinks Rudo is making fun of him by doing these very obviously terrible attempts at smiling, and he thinks he's doing it on purpose. But Rudo is just this very, very oblivious young boy. And so the two failed attempts at smiles lead to them fighting each other. And this is where Zonka realizes Rudo's special ability in being able to give powers, give life, soul, whatever, to any object, as opposed to having a singular object, a singular vital instrument. And he grabs a plunger, and Rudo is completely oblivious to what it is. He doesn't even know what a plunger is. And they just have this long fight where it quickly turns into Rudo chasing Zaka around while Zaka is trying to avoid getting hit by shit from the plunger. And it's very, very fun. It has some Scooby-Doo elements where they're going through different parts of the alley and one's in the background, one's in the foreground. Then they run into each other, run back. Very fun, silly stuff going on there. And when that fight eventually ends, it ends with Rudo realizing what he finally comes to realize that he was fighting Zonka with shit the whole time, and he's embarrassed by it. But I love all the characters. I love Engine's reaction to the whole thing when he finds them and starts taking them to I think they're heading towards the not the giver, the cleaner headquarters for next episode. But it's a very fun episode. I love the characters. I love the way they're interacting already. I love the animation. I love the art in general. I love the OP. I love the OP so much. It is probably my favorite OP of the season. The Don Dodon OP is pretty good, but I like the Don Dodon ED more than the OP. Yeah, I think it has to be my favorite OP. Summer that Hikaru died, I am really liking it. And as the mystery starts to unfold more, I'm getting more and more intrigued. I don't have too much to say about it, except for that I don't know if I'm going to keep watching it. Not because I want to drop it, but because I feel like it might be better, for me at least, to wait until it's all out and then binge it. It's feeling like a binge show for me. And I don't know if others feel the same or if people like getting it piecemeal week to week. But I'm feeling a little like that. It may not help that I watched this week's episode immediately after One Piece, so I was riding the high of that, which was the highest high of this week. That end of One Piece, so good. But yeah, kind of feeling that. Dr. Stone, we got the team landing, building a bunch of bikes, and making their way to the middle of South America or wherever they're going to see the where it all began. You had Zeno linking some Morse code to the one dude and all of that. Them trying to attack. You saw the long play finally of him putting some sugar water in the flying vehicles so that they would get destroyed almost immediately after takeoff. I don't I don't even know if there's really any point for me talking about Dr. Stone because I like it. I enjoy this episode. It was fine, but I don't know if it's right now. I'm just not as I don't want to say not as invested, but because there's so much, I'm looking forward to them not making as much progress in terms of distance. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I enjoyed it more when they were in fixed locations figuring things out. So whether it is them trying to attack a specific location or explore it, investigate it, so on and so forth, and not just this. They traveled a long distance in this episode, and I don't find that as engaging. I'm like, okay, I don't like travel episodes. I guess get to where you want to go and then start doing your stuff. So yeah, that was fine. Witch Watch was a really fun episode this week. It was split up into 2 bits. I really, really liked the first part. That was a complete Saw parody. And in this episode, or in that little bit, you had the witch fake kidnapped by the werewolf, who you didn't know was the werewolf, but it was a werewolf with a mask on. And I think his name was Jigjag or Jigjaw. And he puts all the other ones in the room. Well, there's a fake werewolf who doesn't say anything. And it's like, oh, what's going on with him? But you have the vampire, the crow. What is it? A Tungeon? I forget the actual thing it is. And then the ogre. And he has them play this human scale board game type thing. And he's going over all the rules. And as I'm thinking to myself, man, there are a lot of rules here. And he's still going on. The characters all say that as well. They're like, man, there are a lot of rules here, buddy. What this is getting fucking boring. And then they start to play it, and immediately the crow dude gets knocked out because it's this game where they're playing snakes, and the ogre rolls the die that puts him past him, so he ends up quote unquote eating him. And they're like, the crow freaks out and is just like, this is the fucking worst game ever. This sucks. It's already over. Fucking 2 turns in. It's already, you designed this? What are we doing here? And then they all work, the vampire, the ogre, and the crow dude. They all work towards redesigning this game to make it better, and they just make a board game out of it. And it was just fun watching that whole play out. I like how self-aware the show is. And while it does this complete parody and it does so much referential humor on it, something that doesn't always work for me, I think they do it very, very, very well. And then the second part was about the witch mishandling a spell again. She tries to elongate a pencil, but instead elongates 4 parts of the people in, well, the student council president, and then the crow, ogre, and werewolf. Werewolf gets super long hair. Ogre gets super long nails. Student council president gets 1 super long arm, and the crow gets a super long neck. And watching them try and navigate that is fun and kind of gross, but it's a really fun show. I like it a lot. I think that's it, right? Is there anything else I missed? I get Sakamoto Days. I had a really good time with this most recent episode. I again think this second part of the first season is going to be better because we have our characters now. They're established, and now we just get to see them develop. I loved seeing the one girl get drunk. I like her drunk personalities. They're fun. But it was a really fun episode with some good moments between mind dude, telepathic dude, and drunk girl. I should learn more names. It's just there's a lot. I'm watching a lot right now. And Sakamoto Days is definitely on the lower end of priority for me. But I'm enjoying this season so far. We're still very early on. But I like it. I like it. It's good. It's good. It's definitely a solid 7 out of 10 type of show. And then I did check out that I don't know if I talked about it last episode, that Night of the Living Cat. It's just not good. I kind of could have expected it from the studio. What is the name of the studio? But they have a very overall ugly aesthetic that I'm not always a fan of, that works with a certain type of show. What is it? What are they named? What is it? Where is it? Where are you? Where are you? Wait, OLM is the studio? I could have sworn I saw somebody else. I thought it was somebody else. I don't know who the fuck OLM is. Unless OLM is a different name for the. No. They're I'm so confused. The same studio that does the Apothecary Diaries? Get out of here. Get out of here. No, are they the studio that did that stupid panty show? In a World Without Panties? This is not it. This is a mother. No, show me your panties while you give me that disgust. No, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. The cat show is just not that great. It doesn't look good, and the humor is. I'm intrigued by the story of all the things. I don't think it's particularly funny. There are some funny moments. I'm a huge cat person. Keep in mind, my first ever tattoo, right there. My cat's name in Braille after he passed away, across my collarbone. I'm so confused and curious about the actual story. What's going on? Why? Why? That's what I want to know more than anything. But I'm not loving it. I'm probably going to drop it. I've watched the first 3 episodes, and it's fine. I don't know. I'd probably give it a 4, maybe a 5 if I'm being generous. But yeah, I think that's it in terms of what I've been watching anime-wise. So, you know, don't really have anything else to say about movies or any of that jazz. Really focus on anime currently. So, yeah. Dandadan, fantastic. My Dress Up Darling, fantastic. This week's episode of One Piece, unfucking believable. Gashikuta, glad to have it back after the 1 week delay, and it is fantastic. Sakamoto Days, pretty solid. Witch Watch, fun as always. Similar that Hikaru died. It's great. I just think I might need to binge it. And then Kaiju number 8. Kaiju number 8. My concern with it right now is that the next few episodes are going to be rough because we're in the Spider-Man can't Spider-Man phase. Hulk can't transform. Bruce Banner can't transform phase. And I don't know how long that's going to last. Of Kaiju number 8, what's his actual name? I forget. But he's failing to transform. And I don't know if they're going to make that linger for multiple episodes. That's gonna get old fast. But yeah, it's fun when action is happening, but when it's not, I'm not as into it. And part of it, I think, is the fact that I don't think it looks that great when action isn't going on. It has a very, very flat look to it. And In the overall grand scheme of things, it doesn't look bad. But when you have stuff like My Dress Up Darling, Gachi Kuta, Summer That Hikaru Died, Don to Don, even I was gonna say even Sakamoto Days. Sakamoto Days just has a more unique art style. I don't know if I would say the animation is better, but it has a more distinct look at the very least. It's just hard for it to stand out. I think Kaiju number 8 could have benefited a lot. I know scheduling, work, you don't want anyone to work too much. I don't want crunch and all that kind of shit. But if it could have come out last season, I think it would have helped it a lot. But yeah. It's still solid. It's not hitting on the same level as so many other shows this season for me, at least. Yeah, that'll do it for this year episode of Animezingly Baka. Once again, I am Marcus Nez. Y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can get a monthly Q&A, but that might be going away in favor of a random podcast here or there in the form of the sausage dump. We'll see. But also you get access to a private Discord channel along with some fancy Discord roles and the random drop on the Patreon here or there depending on your tier, but that might just be the sausage dump again. So we'll see. That is again patreon.com/PXS, or you could just support me if that is your fancy. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, and so much more, including my Omni list if you want to follow my ratings and check out other things I've watched. I've rated many a show. Where am I? How many? It's 800 and something, I think, deep. Nope. We just recently crossed 900. So I'm at 901 anime, 18,553 episodes watched, 303.3 days watched, with a mean score of 61.55. So 6 out of 10. And if you want to get deeper in those details, that can also be found with all these other links over at pxsausage.com. That is the letter P, the letter X, sausage.com. But that is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoy this here episode, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. But for now, adios, arrivederci. Bye bye.
It's go time. Go daddy. It's go time. Go daddy. It's go time. Go daddy.